join them. The Bears of Northern Colorado getting here with a 3-0 win over Regis yesterday. Meanwhile, Northern Michigan just totally dominated New Haven, 3-0. Northern Michigan looking to get to their first ever national championship victory. They lost last year to Portland State in the finals. Portland State just defeated in a very exciting match against Cal State Bakersfield. And Lisa Rosen, you were here for that match. Your husband, Mark, the coach of Bakersfield, can you describe what was going on down there? Portland State was coming back. They were down 8-14. All of a sudden, it's 14-13. And you got a team like Portland State. Did they feel like it was slipping away, or did they just stay focused?
I think they did a really nice job of just staying focused. They sided out with them several times. I'm not even sure how many times around they went in their rotation. I think they did a nice job of just staying focused, not getting nervous, because that's probably the general tendency. And they ended the game with a win.
Well, Mark's got to be pleased. His second year as coach of the Roadrunners, and all the way to the national championships.
Yeah, I think this is pretty exciting for him. I know he's a little bit nervous, but I think he's doing a great job of keeping the girls calm and focused.
Well, one of the Bakersfield players, Jennifer Stretzoff, will join us a little later during this match. She had an incredible 74 assists.
Yeah, she did. She's doing a very nice job. She got injured earlier in the season, and after her comeback, she's just been spectacular. She was a second-team All-American. Is basically the leader of that team right now.
This match between Northern Michigan and the University of Northern Colorado, as we mentioned, Colorado 3-0 over Regis. There you see Coach Linda Delk on the UNC bench, over 500 career victories. Linda's a little bit more to the left. If you can pan a little bit to the left, we'll find Linda. She sits in the last chair. Keep going, a little bit more, we'll find her. But there's Linda, over 500 career victories. Meanwhile, Jim Moore leads the Northern Michigan Wildcats. And Lisa, you were with me for the Northern Michigan game last night. And Andrea Gomez was just an incredible player. She hit near 70%.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing to hit that high, especially when you're at the Elite Eight. Tonight I looked for a little bit better match with UNC. I think they're a little bit taller, a little bit more physical than New Haven was. I think it'll be a good match tonight.
UNC is led by number 12, Dana Cash, a first-team All-American. She's a senior from Colorado Springs. And yesterday in the match for Dana Cash, she had 12 kills. Excellent player. She was so good, she was even recruited by Northern Michigan. Chose to stay home at UNC. Also for the Bears, look for number 2, Tatiana Smith, the junior setter from Colorado Springs. And number 16, Debbie Ponis, has just been an outstanding player, and she's really their go-to throughout the match. When they need a big point, they go to number 16, Debbie Ponis. Meanwhile, Northern Michigan, 3 first-team All-Americans, Stacy Metro, the 6'1 setter, Andrea Gomez, the 6'3 middle blocker, and Heather Koenig, the 5'10 senior place set hitter from Torrance, California. But Northern Michigan also has some players who can really bring it in, players like Tricia Tueller and Jenny Long. And Tricia Tueller, number 7 for Northern Michigan, she had a good match yesterday. Stacy Metro, also excellent, but Tricia Tueller had 11 kills in only 17 attacks yesterday.
Yeah, Tricia's doing a nice job for them. She is one of the swing hitters. She does a nice job of passing the ball first and then getting outside. That's one of the big, not problems, but one of the big things that you have to look for is you have to pass the ball first before you can attack. Tendencies of hitters is to want to get out and attack the ball. Well, without a pass, you're not going to be able to do much of anything.
Northern with wins of 15-3, 15-6, and 15-5 yesterday. You should take a look at Jim Moore in his 5th season, but despite the fact that it was a very convincing, very quick 55-minute victory over New Haven, Jim Moore was, like most coaches, found some things that he was not pleased with, and he's one of those coaches that when you win, let's find what we did wrong, and when you lose, let's build back up.
Right, I'm sure that just about every single coach out there is like that. You're always trying to improve your team. Tomorrow night's going to be the big night. They'll probably see, both coaches will probably see things that their team can do better. I guess that's just basically the concept of coaching, though.
Big crowd on hand again, a good-sized crowd last night for Northern Michigan, and Northern Michigan players were just overwhelmed by the fan support they've gotten in this tournament. And again, another big crowd, and that's always something to help keep the adrenaline flowing.
Yeah, it's nice to have a big home crowd. gym gets real loud. It's always in your favor, so that's nice.
While we are just about set to start it out for Northern Colorado, we will see Dana Cash along with Dawn Schaefer, number 9, and number 2, Tatiana Smith. Also in the lineup, Debbie Ponis, 16, 11, Erica Wymore, who had a good match yesterday. And we'll see if we can identify the other player that's hidden there in that UNC huddle, which you see on your screen. It will be number 5, Amber Petty, the 5'8" sophomore from Thornton, Colorado. For Northern Michigan, up front, we will have Heather Koenig, Andrea Gomez, and Stacy Metro. And along the back, Tricia Tuller, Jenny Long, and Rachel Dyrek. Serve will begin with Northern Colorado, and it will be Dawn Schaefer, number 9. Semifinal match, winner of this one to meet the Roadrunners of Cal State Bakersfield in the final. They did away with Portland State 3-1 in tonight's first match. And now the officials exchanging notes to begin the game.
Yeah, probably looking at making sure lineups are all correct.
And Schaefer serve has it underway. Stacy the set. Jenny Long drops it down in front of Dana Cash, and Northern Michigan will get the side out right away. Heather Koenig will serve.
Jenny did a nice job of slowing her arm swing down on that.
Heather Koenig had 6 service aces in the match yesterday against New Haven. Ponis with the slam. Gomez, they got it up there, but Andrea couldn't connect. And it will go back over to Northern Colorado. Northern Michigan looked a little disorganized up front on that first point. Could be early jitters, and that may be the case for Amber Petty as she smacks one into the net.
Yeah, I look for this game to be much more physical, much more entertaining tonight, as far as Northern Michigan's concerned.
Well, when we say Northern, we have to be specific.
Yeah.
Northern Michigan, Northern Colorado. The Wildcats on the left of your screen in the dark green with gold numbers, and the Bears of Northern Colorado in the blue with white trim and white numbers. Now, maybe a little bit of a problem with the net, I know. Now, when they checked it out before the first match, it was strung just a little bit too high, and they'll get on it even if it's a quarter of an inch off.
Right, it's pretty important, just because there's regulations and it has to be a certain height. So they're pretty specific with it.
Northern Michigan scores the first point of the game. Jenny Long serve. Ponis bumps it. Set up, and nice hit by Erica Wymore. Northern back with it. Dug out the back row by Schaefer. Debbie Ponis, and just a little bit long, but she got the touch, and it will go to Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado's doing a nice job right now of attacking Northern Michigan. That was something last night that we didn't see New Haven do.
The serve from Debbie Ponis will be bumped by Metro. And Stacy will come back, and that will be Tricia Tuller with the kill, and it's side out NMU. Pauline Schutte checks into the game up front for Northern Michigan, adding just a little more height. Pauline stands 6'2". Gomez serve results in point number 2 for Northern Michigan.
Stacy Metro did a nice job of following her hitter on that approach.
Stacy Metro wears number 2, the Division II Player of the Year, 2 years running. Nice dive by Heather Koenig to keep it alive. Tricia Tuller gets it over the net, and it will be a double hit against UNC.
It was a great save by Heather Koenig. She did a nice job of getting her hands underneath that ball.
For Heather Koenig, she had 5 digs in yesterday's match, and she's out to the good start here with her first. Ponis hits it over. And Stacy tried to go with the set attack. That was blocked. Koenig from the back row sends it into the net.
A little bit of a mixed-up play there.
0-3, UNC trails. Back to serve will be Vicki Pruitt, the 5'1" senior from Denver. One of the smaller players you'll see in D2 volleyball.
Yeah, I know Portland State has a small setter as well.
Tricia Tuller with the dump shot. Way to dig it out by Amber Petty. Schutte with the smack and into the net. 4 contacts. Net violation.
Yeah, net violation on number 9. That's about the second net violation Northern Colorado's had when they had an opportunity to score.
That one against Dawn Schaefer. Stacy Metro will serve it for Northern Michigan. The setup for Schaefer off the block. Petty will set it up. Dana Cash tries to kill it, can't do it. Stacy Metro, the set. Tricia Tuller gets it into the block, but just a little too much. Schaefer just a little bit slow going up on that one.
Yeah, she was there. She just needed to press her hands over the net.
Got to set up that roof. The set will go to Dana Cash. Bumped high into the air and into the second row. So it'll be side out Northern Colorado.
Northern Colorado is running a pretty fast offense as well. That's going to help them against this taller team of Northern Michigan.
Well, Northern Colorado comes into this weekend having won every tournament in which they've participated this year. Northern Michigan would like to put an end to that streak. The big kill for the Wildcats. And they will get it back.
Heather Koenig went up and just absolutely hammered that ball.
Northern Michigan has some players who can really hit that ball and hit it hard. That one goes out of bounds. Point Northern Michigan, 5-0 Wildcats, and Linda Delk will call a timeout.
Northern Colorado's doing a nice job of challenging Northern Michigan right now. I still think it's too early in the match to tell who's going to be the perennial favorite of this game.
Well, what Northern Colorado needs to do is get the ball into the hands of Tatiana Smith. Tatiana had 39 assists yesterday, and she's the one that wants to do the setting for Dana Cash and Debbie Ponis, the 1-2 punch for the Bears. Northern Michigan has a lot of balance in their offense. They go to Tricia Tuller quite a bit. They go to Andrea Gomez quite a bit. They go to Heather Koenig quite a bit.
Yeah, that's an advantage that Northern Michigan has over most teams that they play, is they have a very balanced attack. Every single person on their team can attack the ball.
Tricia Tuller will do the serving for the Wildcats. Debbie Cash, or Dana Cash rather, keeps it alive. Becky Smith with the hit. Wildcats will set it up for Koenig, off the block and out of bounds. Point Northern Michigan.
Andrea Gomez is doing a nice job right now playing back row defense. She saved a couple of balls so far.
Wildcats, the early 6-0 lead. The Tuller serve is deep. Cash will bump it up. This one will be set for Brittany Tonjes. Dug out by Andrea Gomez, and we've got a lift called against the Northern Michigan Wildcats.
A little bit upset about that call. I don't know.
Dana Cash will serve it, and she finds the line. Jenny Long ducked in the back row, and she should have been hitting, and UNC is on the board.
Yeah, that was a nice serve. Had a lot of floater on that.
A little higher, a little shorter. The set, Metro for Koenig. Heather goes cross court. Kept alive by the setter, Debbie Ponis with the tip. Wildcats keep it from hitting the floor. This one goes to Jenny Long, off the hands of Debbie Ponis. Here comes Debbie again, the attack. Andrea Gomez digs it out. Ponis at the net, and we'll get the violation against the Wildcats.
It's a nice rally. Haven't seen much in this game so far.
2-6, UNC trails. Nice serve by Cash, but Jenny Long came up to save it, and they won't get to that one. Give the kill to number 8, Brittany Tonjes.
Might be seeing a little bit of a momentum shift right here. Northern Colorado's doing a nice job of controlling the game right this moment.
They've taken 3 consecutive points off the service of Dana Cash. Here's Jenny Long, and it won't be 4 in a row, at least this time around, as Long found an area outside the sprawling Dana Cash.
Yeah, she did a nice job of getting up and seeing where she could hit and hit a nice angle shot.
Liu Jun, the freshman from China, serves for Northern Michigan. They're up 6-3. Debbie Ponis smacks it deep. Jun keeps it alive. Jenny Long, and that one goes off the block of the Bears, and getting up there for UNC was number 9, and that would be Dawn Schaefer, the 6-foot sophomore middle blocker from Omaha, Nebraska. And it is her service. Stacy Metro sets Gomez, the tip, kept alive. Debbie Ponis off the block and out of bounds.
Northern Colorado is doing a nice job of tooling the block of Northern Michigan right now. I'd say that the blockers just need to get up a little bit sooner and seal the net.
The set for Andrea Gomans. Look out, and it's in.
Yeah, that looks like a repeat from last night.
I'll tell you, Jim Moore said in the press conference afterwards that when Andrea is playing that well technically, that it can be pretty scary. It's got to be pretty scary if you're under one of those thunderous spikes.
Yeah.
Stacy Metro sets it a little too far forward for Andrea on that one, and it'll be side out Northern Colorado. They've come back from being down 0-6 to 4-6.
They're doing a nice job of just staying relaxed and staying in this game.
Amber Petty serve, played by Jenny Long. The set for Jenny. Blocked, but out of bounds. Side out Wildcats. Game number 1. They lead it 6-4. Service will come from Jenny Long, the junior from La Mesa, California. Nice dig by Heather Koenig, but unable to control it, and it will go back to Northern Colorado. I tell you, Jim Moore has done an excellent recruiting job. It can't be the easiest thing in the world to get a young lady from California to come to Upper Michigan.
I don't know. I know that that you're going to go where you want to play the most. And if they enjoyed their recruiting visit here, then that's what you're gonna make your decision on.
Well, the biggest thing Jim Moore's had to sell to his recruits in the past couple of years is the quality of the program that he's built here at Northern Michigan. He didn't even win 10 matches his first year, and now he's in the Final Four for the second consecutive.
Right. Good players are going to go to, obviously good players are going to go to good programs. But you need to start that somewhere, and he did a nice job of starting that when he came in here. Brought in some very good quality players, and now he's just going to keep that cycle going.
Well, Lisa, you played Division I volleyball. What are the big differences between the level of play in Division I and Division II?
I'd say the highest quality teams, their offenses might be just a little bit faster. These top 4 teams, though, in Division II, they could play Division I, and they could beat some very good teams because they do run fast offenses. They're very technically sound.
Stacy Metro will set it up for Gomans. Andrea off the block of Schaefer. Side out Wildcats. 7-4 Northern Michigan. That was their first point since going up 6-0. Stacy Metro's serve kept up by Ponis. Nice diving save there by Tatiana Smith. Tricia Tuller slams it long.
UNC setter Tatiana Smith is doing a great job of running down any pass that's not right to her. Something that you need in a setter is a lot of hustle.
4-7, and that will be Smith to serve it up. Tatiana, a 5'6" junior from Colorado Springs. And that one will be a service error wide to the right. And it'll be Tricia Tuller's turn for the Wildcats. Northern Michigan, of course, Coach Moore was unhappy with one part of his game. 13 service errors for the Wildcats yesterday. And there, I think Schaefer crossed herself up for Northern Colorado. So Coach Moore said he'd ideally like to keep the number of service errors at or below the number of aces.
Right, we always want to be, we always wanted to try and be a 2-to-1 ratio of service aces to errors.
This one will be set up for Dana Cash, and Dana drops it in. And she will serve trailing 4-8.
Both teams are doing a nice job of playing some good defense. Seen a little bit more rallies today in both matches. I know Bakersfield and Portland has some great rallies. This game is starting out to be that way also.
Cash serves it up. Jenny Long the bump. Metro the set, and Jenny tried to come out the back door and get it over the net. Debbie Ponis with a smash off the shoulder of Stacy Metro. What a play by Andrea Gomans. Just an incredible layout dive for Gomans, but to no avail as UNC gets the point. But I tell you, Andrea at 6'3", showed a lot of quickness getting back there to save that ball.
Yeah, that was a great hustle. She didn't want that ball to drop no matter what. And she actually saved the play. Unfortunately, it dropped.
Well, there we go with Stacy Metro, and that's a play she's very effective on.
Showing a little bit of fire out there.
8-5 Wildcats. Rachel Dyrick will serve. This one will be set up for Tonjes. Brittany has it dug out by Tricia Tuller. Jenny Long goes into the block. But again, UNC not able to get over the net.
Yeah, number 9 for UNC needs to get her hands over the net. If she did, she's gonna roof that ball.
This one will be set up for Debbie Ponis. Off the block, Bowman sends it right back. And UNC unable to control it. And it's a point for the Wildcats.
Andrea Gomez is doing a nice job of taking control of the match right now. Things weren't going as great as they should for Northern Michigan, or as well as they expected. She's doing a nice job of taking over.
I'll tell you, I think Andrea is a player that is capable of totally dominating any game in which she plays. And although they didn't get the point, that diving save her was a rallying point for the team.
Sure, it was a big momentum builder. Right now, Northern Michigan's doing a nice job of keeping a lead. They just need to finish out the game. Northern Colorado's doing a good job, though, of siding out with them every single time.
10-5 in favor of Northern Michigan over the Bears of Northern Colorado. Wildcat service. Rachel Dyrick will continue following the timeout. So Linda Delt's already burned both of her timeouts in this first game.
Yeah, she needed to do something to speed or to slow down the momentum.
Well,
it worked.
She speeded up Debbie Ponis there, and it's side out UNC. Schaefer serves it for Colorado. The set goes to Koenig, and Heather drills a quick one. UNC will have to just dump it back over the net. The Metro setup. Jenny Long off the block, dug out by TJ Smith. Debbie Ponis sends it to the back row, and Tricia Tuller made a sprawling goaltender type save, but Stacy Metro couldn't convert, and the point goes to UNC. The setup for Doman, and she got it in. No, it was out. Pardon me. Just not by much, but it was out.
Stacy needs to set her just a little bit higher. If you set her as high as you can, as high as she possibly can, she's going to go over the block, just like she did.
Well, Lisa, give yourself an assist for calling that one as it developed. It's side out Northern Michigan, and Heather Koenig will serve it up. This set goes to Debbie Ponis. Liu Jun digs it out. Jenny Long finds net. Wildcats going quite a bit to Jenny Long here in this match. Yesterday, Jenny had 12 attacks, 7 kills, and she's probably seen about 6 or 7 so far here in this first game.
Yeah, she's doing a nice job. Northern Michigan's doing a nice job of spreading out their offense. That's going to keep Northern Colorado blocking scheme from getting really set.
Well, Stacy Metro used Andrea Gomez as the decoy on that one and smacked it down around the 3-meter line, side out Northern Michigan with a 10-7 lead. Ponis plays it up, and that will be rocketed to the floor by Erica Wymore.
Erica's doing a great job of running a very quick slide. If you run a quick, effective slide, it's almost impossible to stop.
Ponis serve. Set up by Liu Jun and just bumped over the net by Stacy Metro. Dana Cash catches the tape and gets the point. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, sometimes a missed hit's going to score more than a good contact.
8-10 now, UNC down by 2. The set by Metro, and Gomez thunders one down.
Andrea Gomez pretty much was dominating the net at that time. She's in the back row now, so we'll see if that changes anything.
The setup, Cash's bump was a little too far, and we've got Northern Michigan in the net.
Net called on their middle blocker. I don't think she thinks so.
Back row service by Erica Wymore. Northern Michigan, nice dig by Ponis. Bumped up into the air by Smith. Dana Cash gets it over the net. Jenny Long will have to do something with it, and Tricia Tueller hits it again, just long.
I think Northern Michigan's getting just a little bit frazzled here. Northern Colorado's doing a nice job of playing some defense, digging up just about everything.
This set will go to Tueller. Blocked. They'll set it up again to Tricia, and she puts that one on the floor.
She did a nice job. Tricia did a nice job getting up, getting blocked, and then getting back in and swinging. A lot of tendencies are for outside hitters to tip the second ball if they blocked.
Dana Cash gets it bumped by Stacy Metro. UNC comes back with it, and that one will be knocked down by number 13, Pauline Schutte, the 6'2" sophomore from Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
She had a nice heads-up play there.
11-9 Wildcats. Smith sets it for Dana Cash. Nice stop by Jenny Long. This one will be hit by Koenig. Petty keeps it alive. Dana Cash, the tip. Nice dig, Gomans, and Jenny Long will get it over the net. That's a second big one for Andrea. Cash, Gomans bumps it. Stacy sets it for Schutte. Point Northern Michigan.
I think Northern Colorado is back on their heels, just expecting someone to hammer that ball. Middle blocker did a nice job of just tipping the ball over.
12-9 Wildcats, and Andrea Gomans again with her second big dig. Smith taps it over the net. Wildcats will put it up in the air. Tricia Tueller just dumps it off. Smith, the set, Schaefer, the hit. Nice dig by Gomans, and that one will be in the net against Northern Michigan.
Yeah, middle blocker calls in the net again. I'm not sure where she's hitting that net up, if she's hitting it on her way down or what.
Jenny Long doing a little cleanup work. Take a chance to wipe the face off, too. Wildcats working up a sweat. Up 12-9 here in game number 1.
Yeah, this should be a more exciting match for them to play as well as for the spectators to watch.
Tricia Tueller sets it down, and Debbie Ponis couldn't get under it.
It was a nice swing by Tricia Tueller. Middle blocker created that hole in the block, and she had one blocker, and when you go one-on-one, you better put the ball away.
Ponis gets under that one. The setup for Dana Cash. She tips it over. Jenny Long keeps it alive, and Heather Koenig sends it over. Smith will be bumped over by Erica Wymore. Northern Michigan again, and that one, nice dig by Wymore in the back row. Dana Cash has it blocked, dug by Ponis. Set up for Tonjes. Brittany has it dug out by Tricia Tueller. This one goes over Pauline Schutte. Cash sets it up. Brittany Tonjes, too long.
It was a great rally. Both teams are playing very heads-up defense, digging a lot of off-speed shots, just keeping the ball alive.
Tueller serve. The setup by Smith for Dana Cash. Delmans bumps it. The set by Metro. A little bit behind Jenny Long, or Heather Koenig rather, but Heather came back on it and adjusted her jump in midair.
Yeah,
and got the point.
Looked like Tatiana Smith was just a little bit behind the block. She needs to stay right outside the block.
Game point for Northern Michigan. Fans on their feet, but Gomans couldn't handle it. And they'll take a seat and wait to do it again.
About the only dig I haven't seen Andrea get right now.
That's a hard ball to handle right in that area, just right around the stomach area. It's hard to get under it. You can't get over it. It's
right. There's always that fear factor of getting hit in the face. I mean, you want to crawl in there and dig that ball, but you also kind of have to watch yourself.
14-9, game point, Northern Michigan. Rachel Dyer at the serve. The setup will go to Debbie Ponis off the block. Stacy Metro. Set up by Koenig for Jenny Long off the block again. Tonjes sets it up. Debbie Ponis has it blocked. It's high in the air, and Smith will set it for Debbie Ponis. Heather Koenig for Gomans, and Andrea with the little tip. Nice dig, Dana Cash. Debbie Ponis has it blocked. Game 1, Northern Michigan.
Nope.
No, it was blocked out of bounds. Well, we thought it had been game 1, but Northern got the great block, but couldn't keep it in, so it goes back to UNC, and the Wildcat fans will have to settle down, and so will the announcer.
Yeah. Actually, though, you can get excited now because they're serving for game point again.
I tell you, look at this great crowd here at the Hedgcock Fieldhouse as Koenig serves it up. And what a slam by Erica Wymore to stave off game point again for the third time.
She did a nice job of getting in very fast, very quick.
Brittany Tonjes, a sophomore from Lincoln, Nebraska. Gomez, nice keep up by Dana Cash, and Dana will have to dump it over the net. Gomez to the bump. The setup for Andrea, taps it into the block. Smith got it over the net. This one will go for Jenny Long, right into the block. Heather Koenig with the save in the back row. And what a hit there by number 2, Tatiana Smith, going right at it on the first time over the net.
Yeah, a little bit of an off-speed shot deep in the corner. That's a great shot, the first ball over.
10-14. This one will be set up. No, Stacy on the attack. Off the set there, and she was in the net. Timeout called by Northern Michigan now as UNC has taken a couple straight points after avoiding 3 game points. And they've gotten a little bit of momentum back on their side and settled this crowd down just a bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's nice to be able to take a crowd out of the match, but on the other hand, it's nice to have the crowd in the match if you're the home team.
Well, you know, I've talked to players in different sports, and they would rather be the opposing team in a full, raucous, rowdy building where everyone's rooting against you than to be in a gym where there's 50 people in the stands and it's kind of quiet.
Yeah, it's always, I mean, I'd love to see crowds at any sporting event, just a community sport. If you're the opponent, it's always nice to shut down the crowd. If you're the home crowd or the home team, it's always nice to have a very loud one.
Tonjes will serve it up for UNC. They've closed to within 11-14. And Jenny Long unable to dig that one out as it took a little top spin right down in front of her.
Yeah, it dropped right in front of her.
So it's now 12-14. The setup for Andrea slams it right into the block. But it will be side out Northern Michigan as Andrea just a little too powerful, and the fans again on their feet at game point for the service of Jenny Long. 14-12 Wildcats. Ponis will play it. The set will come to Wymore. This one goes. Andrea Gomez, the tap. Nice save. Wymore again has it blocked by Andrea, but it goes out.
Andrea did a nice job of getting up on that block. She just didn't press her hands over the net.
So it'll be Debbie Ponis serve, the 4th game point avoided by the Bears of Northern Colorado. Here's Tricia Tueller. Nothing doing there as Ponis couldn't get under it. And again, the crowd back on their feet for game point.
Stacey Metri's doing a nice job of using her middle blocker as a decoy right now. Northern Colorado's middle blocker's not getting to the outside and filling the hole.
Pauline Schutte checks back in. Northern Michigan goes 6 foot, 6'1", and 6'2" across the front line. Wymore keeps it in play, and she'll take the set. This one now, Tricia Tueller into the block. Game Northern Michigan. Now we've got it. 15-12 in number 1. And the Wildcats using that front row height to take the first one from Northern Colorado. We'll come back with number 2 after this timeout.
October 1987. A small child is rescued from an abandoned well. No country comes to the aid of a child the way we do. Yet today, millions of children need our help, lost in an education system unable to prepare them for today's competitive world. Imagine if that same effort went into keeping the promise that every child gets the best education and has a future. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE for information on changing the schools in your community.
There are some things that improve with age. The longer you keep them, the better they get. That's how it is with U.S. savings bonds, and that's why they make perfect gifts. Just go to your bank, ask for a gift certificate to give now, and the bond will arrive in the mail later. Cool! Give U.S. savings bonds because some things improve with age, fortunately.
Save stock in America. U.S. savings bonds.
Medicine can't make this man's hands work, but with the help of his dog, he can open any door. There'll never be a pair of glasses strong enough to give this woman sight. But thanks to her dog, her horizons are expanding. Dogs have the hands, eyes, ears, and even legs for thousands of Americans who rely on their dog's devotion. But every dog relies on its owner for love and caring. Can your dog rely on you? The American Kennel Club urges you to be a responsible dog owner.
Welcome back to the CB Hedgcock Fieldhouse NCAA Division II Women's Volleyball Championships. Northern Michigan takes game 1 over Northern Colorado by a score of 15-12. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Danis for Bresnan Communications, and joining me now from Cal State Bakersfield is Jennifer Strutzoff. And Jennifer, you guys had a real exciting match against Portland State. They had come back. You were up 14-8 in that last game. They came back and made it close, but your team finally put it away.
Well, we were pretty determined. We didn't want anything to get away from us, and I was determined not to let that match go to 5 games, so we came out and played hard.
Well, you certainly had a pretty incredible match. 74 assists. How do you account for just that huge number of setups?
Well, in order to get those kind of sets, my passers have to pass and my hitters have to put it away, so I had a lot of help from my team.
Now, tomorrow night, you'll take on the winner of this match. What do you see in these two teams?
Well, we've seen Northern Michigan before. We've played them twice, once at our home and once at the Portland State Tournament. So I think that we're pretty prepared for them, and we know what to expect for the most part. We need to play hard. This is the first time I've seen Colorado play, so we're still pretty much in the learning process about them.
Your team had to be pretty fired up. You got out to that 2 games to 2-0 lead, pardon me, and then Portland came back. But you know, after that 3rd game, it was just really made for an exciting match, and you guys really had to be happy in the locker room after that.
Yeah, we the minute that last ball went down, I think we pretty much all burst into tears. We were so excited. This was one of the major goals that we set at the beginning of the season, and we accomplished it, and now we have one more to go get.
Well, Jennifer, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on a great match, and we'll see you play tomorrow night.
Thank you very much.
That's Jennifer Strutzoff of the Cal State Bakersfield Roadrunners. A big game or a big match for Jennifer and a big match for Bakersfield as they take out the Portland State Vikings to advance to the championship game tomorrow night against the winner of this one. Right now it's 2-1 Northern Michigan. Heather Koenig with the serve, and we're getting Lisa Rosen back set up with her headset. So we need a 3rd mic or a 3rd headset for these guests that drop by.
Oh, really?
3-1 Wildcats. Koenig's service. That'll be played out the back row by Ponis. This one set up for Wymore. That was blocked. Set up again for Debbie Ponis off of the hands of Gomans. Stacy Metro sets it. Jenny Long gets it just inside the line.
Jenny did a nice job of getting in very fast, very quick, turning her shoulders, hitting the line at the last minute.
So the Wildcats, they get off to a 6-0 lead in game number 1. They're up 4-1 here in game 2. Stacy, this set again, Jenny Long. And that one a little hot to handle. Debbie Ponis will come back with it, kept alive by Koenig, and Stacy Metro, that set attack. And it's 5-1 Northern.
Stacy Metro does a nice job of making herself an attacker. When you're running a 5-1 with your front row setter being as tall and aggressive as she is, it's an advantage to your side.
Stacy Metro had 30 assists yesterday, and you say that kind of pales in comparison to the performance by Jennifer Strutzoff on Bakersfield. But like Jennifer said, you know, the passers have to get it to you, and the hitters have to put it away to just rack up those kind of numbers.
Right. I think Bakersfield did a nice job of controlling the match, passed the ball very well. They had some, all of their hitters contributed equally. One thing, though, in favor of Stacy Metro is the match last night only went 3 games, as the Bakersfield game went 4. And also, there's a lot more rallies in the Bakersfield game this afternoon than there was last night in Stacy Metro's match against New Haven.
Well, that Bakersfield-Portland match went over the 2-hour mark. And that by far the longest of the tournament. But I see a lot of things that are comparable between Bakersfield and Northern Michigan. Both have a variety of ways they can come at you offensively, and the attack is really spread around.
Right. They both run their attack antenna to antenna. They use the entire net. Do a nice job of spreading out the blockers.
Diving save by Heather Koenig. Tueller bumps it out the back row. The setup again, Jenny Long into the block. Dyrick keeps it alive. Jenny Long again finds the block, and this one bumps up herself. Stacy Metro on the set from Gomans, dumps it over the net. This one comes back. Debbie Ponis runs into the block, but Northern again keeps it going. And Andrea Gomans comes up big for the Wildcats. It's 7-1 Northern Michigan.
Just about any ball Andrea's touched this whole tournament has been a terminating ball. That's what you need, and it's very nice to have it in a middle hitter.
Nice save by Smith. Tueller bumps it out the back row. Stacy Metro the set. Jenny Long again into the block. Bumps it up, Stacy Metro, and that one a point for the Wildcats. It's 8-1.
Northern Colorado needs to slow down the momentum right here, whether it's wipe the floor or do something to slow the momentum down. Northern Michigan's run 7 points on him so far.
Dana Cash. Metro sets it for Andrea, and just a little bit too far for Gomans, and she tapped it into the net instead of over it.
That's a tough set. Pretty gutsy set to try. Unfortunately, it didn't work.
Ponis to serve, and that one's wide. And it will come over to the Wildcats.
Like I said last night, any chance that you're going to get, any break you're going to get against Northern Michigan, you need to take advantage of that. Northern Colorado's done a nice job of keeping their serve in. Just need to be a little bit more consistent with it.
This setup goes to Tricia Tueller. And this one will go for Dana Cash. Dana has it bumped out by Jenny Long. Stacy Metro on the attack. And it's kept alive. Can Koenig get it over the net? My goodness, what a shot by Heather Koenig. Jenny Long. Metro sends it over. Crowd on its feet again. Nice dig by Jenny. Heather Koenig with the smash, bumped by Ponis. The setup, Wymore kept alive by Metro. Andrea sets it up, and the violation will go against the Wildcats. Stacy Metro was in the net.
Actually, they called Andrea Gomans for a double hit. That's a tough way to lose such a great rally between both teams. But that's a referee's judgment call.
Well, a gym full of hockey fans, they'll give the referees, they'll give them the business whether they're on the rink or on the hardwoods. Tricia Tueller.
But that's the best way to answer back to that.
Tricia just smoked it, the 6'1" senior from West Allis, Wisconsin, down just outside of Milwaukee. And from a little farther away, Andrea Gomans of the Netherlands serves it up. Schaefer. And Andrea's got to chase it, and she dives and can't quite get there. And it'll be side out for Northern Colorado.
I've seen some of the best hustle in volleyball that I've seen here tonight in both matches.
I'm going to tell you, when you get to this level, just the incredible amount of adrenaline that rushes through your body. It could be at 32-31 in game number 5, and your body's dead tired, but your mind is just going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, and you're going to do just about anything you can to keep that ball off the ground.
Now Gomans tried, but sends it wide. It's now 3-8.
Heather Koenig having a little bit of problem with passing right now, going after it pretty strong.
And again it happened, but Stacy Metro was there with a good set, and Northern gets the kill. That pass by Heather Koenig was headed right back over the net, but Stacy using that 6'1" height to pull it in.
Yeah, that's a major advantage for Stacy Metro. She's so tall that she can pull a ball back over the net that shorter setters could not even touch.
Tricia Tueller's contact was the 4th for Northern Michigan, so it goes back to the Bears, and Dana Cash just about nailed her middle blocker in the rear end.
Yeah.
So it'll be Tueller's turn. Tricia serves it deep. Dana Cash bumps it. This one goes to Tonjes. Andrea Gomans with the diving dig. Jenny Long into the block. But Colorado couldn't get over the net, and it's 9-3.
I think one thing Northern Michigan's doing right now is they're just out-hustling Northern Colorado just a little bit. They're diving for balls that Northern Colorado's dropping.
You know, we talked yesterday about some of the scrappy play and the hustle on some of the lower-ranked teams such as Regis and Gannon. And when you get a team with the talent level of a Northern Michigan or a Bakersfield, as we saw in the previous match, to be able to play with that same sort of scrappiness, you've really got something that's lethal to the opponents.
Yeah, you have basically a very well-rounded team. When you can play both offense and be very, very aggressive in defense, you're going to be very tough to beat because you're going to frustrate teams because they're not going to be able to put the ball away on you.
The Northern Michigan timeout huddle. There you see on the far left of your screen in the white shirt, that's Kevin Hitt. I'd like to thank Kevin for having joined me for 4 games so far this weekend. And I'd like to thank you, Lisa, for joining me for your 2nd time tonight. Trisha Tour serves it up. Wildcats lead it 10-3. This set will go for Debbie Ponis. Tour with the high dig. Stacy Metro sets it up for Jenny Long. Taps it deep. Northern Colorado keeps it going. Pauline Schutte. Nice play in the back row by Petty for Colorado, and it's side out UNC.
There's a little bit of that scrappiness that we were talking about. Northern Colorado did a nice job of just absolutely going after every single ball.
And my apologies to Vicki Pruitt. It was Vicki, not Amber Petty, with the big stop in the middle of the court and helped UNC get it back. And now the officials again will confer.
I think they want to know if the setter for Northern Colorado's back row. Jim Moore's arguing that she was over the net.
I saw Stacy Metro holding up 4 fingers.
But in our judgment, she either didn't touch it or she didn't go.
And Stacy discussing the situation with the official, maybe looking for a replay.
Unfortunately, to no avail.
The setup for Heather Koenig, and it's blocked back and out of bounds, and a block error goes against UNC.
Right now, UNC needs to make sure that they're putting the ball right on the setter's head so they can attack from all angles.
Liu Jun, the serve for Northern Michigan. And that bump a little too far, and we've got
the back row attack. Called the blocker, or called the setter on a back row attack.
Not supposed to do that. Service again. This one will be set up for Wymore. She goes with the tap and hits it out. 11-3 Northern.
Northern Colorado needs to regroup here. They need to get their ball handling a little bit crisper, a little bit sharper.
Ponis with the hit. Dug out by Jenny Long. Gomans in the net, but she had it stuffed back by Erica Wymore.
Erica had a nice job of getting up after Gomans did. Therefore, she was the one that had the advantage in blocking the ball.
Amber Petty will serve it up at 3-12. Stacy to set. Andrea the hit. Set now to Debbie Ponis. Liu Jun with the dig. Here comes Jenny Long, and that one will be in. Not in, but off the fingertips of Northern Colorado, so it will go back to Northern Michigan.
Right now, Northern Colorado needs to side out with Northern Michigan with a very solid attack.
The setup by Smith, and that one hit just a little bit long. They're looking for the touch call, but it's not coming, and it's 13-3 Wildcats. Heather Koenig serves it up. Ponis with the tap. Heather with the dig, and double hit against Northern Michigan.
Actually, I think they called Stacy Metro in the net.
Got to check. Maybe we'll get the official to give me 2 fingers on the left hand if it's Stacy and 2 on the right if it's the double hit. Jenny Long hit it right into the block of Wymore, and it goes over to Northern Colorado. Nope, side out Northern Michigan.
She hit it in the block, and then the block blocked the ball out into the antenna.
And again, that antenna, if any part of the ball touches it, it's out of play. Ball has to go completely between those antennas. Gomans with the hit. Goes back into the net. Smith digs it out of the net, but Amber Petty couldn't get there, and it's now game point for Northern Michigan.
Well, Northern Michigan's doing a nice job of keeping Northern Colorado off balance, not able to run their offense.
Jenny Long serve. That'll be Jenny again, bumping it from the back row. Stacy Metro, the set to her, off the block. Game 2, Northern Michigan, 15-3. So the Wildcats need one more to make it into their second consecutive NCAA championship game. We'll see if they can do it after this timeout. Welcome back to the CB Hedgcock Fieldhouse. Northern Michigan holds a 2-0 lead over Northern Colorado with 15-12 and 15-3 wins in games 1 and 2. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Danis. Lisa Rosen joins me for game number 3. And Lisa, Northern Michigan, although they won that second game 15-3, really didn't play exceedingly well.
No, I think there's a little bit of miscommunication out there. They weren't as smooth as what they have been, but they overcame that.
Well, I guess it's a good sign when you can win a game 15-3 and not play your best.
Yeah.
Schaefer will serve it up for UNC. Heather Koenig. Dana Cash digs it out. The tap from Debbie Ponis. Stacy Metro. This one will get set up to Rachel Dowlett into the net.
I think Northern Colorado, what they need to do right now is they need to attack Northern Michigan. They need to swing at balls instead of tipping them. I firmly believe that good things happen when you swing hard.
Stacy Metro, the setup for Jenny Long off the block. Smith sets it. Debbie Ponis goes for the cut shot. Jenny Long played it. Here comes Jenny again into the back row. Schaefer. This setup comes to Debbie Ponis off the block of Andrea Gomez. And the line judge almost had to play that one.
Yeah.
Maybe if we can get a shot right in behind the judge's chair in the front row among the crowd. A number of other Northern Michigan athletes out supporting the volleyball program. I see plenty of members from the hockey and women's basketball teams down front and center. Northern's hockey team coming back after a split this weekend in Madison, Wisconsin, winning 5-2 and losing 5-4. Northern's women's basketball team off to a good start on the season.
It's always nice to see your fellow athletes come out and support you. You want to go out and support them as much as you can. So it's nice to see them when they're here.
Well, I know the Wildcat hockey coach, Rick Conley, strongly encourages his players to come on out and support the other teams.
Yeah, it's always nice to have some sort of camaraderie between all of the athletes.
Northern Michigan leads it 3-1, or trails 3-1 rather. Koenig serve. This one set up for Debbie Ponis, and that one a smoker off the hands of Heather Koenig.
Northern Colorado's doing a much better job of attacking the ball. Like I said, good things are going to happen when they swing hard.
Amber Petty serve, dumped by Jenny Long. The setup over the head of Andrea Gomez.
That's going to be a pretty high set if it's going to go over the head of Andrea.
Well, Stacy Metro read it outside. Andrea came inside. And it ends up in a point for UNC. They lead it 4-1, but Andrea changes that.
Yeah, when she steps it up, she's almost impossible to stop.
Last night for Andrea, 16 attacks, 12 kills. Smith will set it up for Debbie Ponis off the block of Gomez. Smith again on the set attack, and Andrea was there to slam it down.
Yeah, the center had the right idea for Northern Colorado, but I kind of think she might lose that battle with Andrea.
Well, Tatiana Smith is 5 feet 6 inches tall, and Andrea is 6'3", so when you give away 9 inches, it's a tough road to hoe. Andrea over the net. Smith will play it up for Wymore. That's blocked by Gomez. Smith will set this one up for Debbie Ponis off the block, and it falls in.
It's a nice change-up shot by Debbie Ponis. She's been swinging. For her to be effective, she needs to mix it up. She needs to swing more, but also to tip a little bit.
It'll be Debbie Ponis to serve with her Bears of Northern Colorado up 4-2 in game number 3. Stacy, the set, and Andrea drops it down. And again, Heather Koenig having a little problem. That one was a high pass to Stacy Metro, but Stacy got it to Andrea.
Yeah, Heather Koenig's not playing as sharp as she did last night.
2-4, Wildcats trail. The Bears will set it to Dana Cash right into the block. And up front was Pauline Schutte.
She could have played that ball out of the net. She just took her eye off the ball.
3-4 now. Northern Michigan down by 1. Ponus plays it out the back. Nobody seems to want to go for it. Dana Cash finally gets the pass and smacks it into the net.
At this point in time, Northern Colorado has nothing to lose. They need to step it up. They need to be extremely aggressive in every single aspect of the game right now.
Northern Michigan has taken 3 consecutive points to tie the game at 4. Schaefer. Cash will just have to dump it over. Stacy Metro sets it for Schutte. Ponus kept alive by Schaefer, back over the net. This one will get set to Tricia Tuller. Nice dig by Debbie Ponus. Dana Cash sends it deep. Jenny Long will bump it. The setup, this one back to Koenig. The set now for Northern Colorado. Wymore the tip, and Stacy Metro got a hand on it, but knocked it out of bounds.
Northern Colorado did a nice job of staying aggressive in everything they did, like I said they needed to do before. You have to want to play that ball when pressure gets time to play the ball. You have to want to play that.
Northern Michigan looking for their 37th victory of the season here against Northern Colorado, but I'll tell you what, Don Schaefer does not want to let that happen.
No, she's going to do everything she can to stop that.
That serve goes into the net. Northern Michigan has 30 consecutive victories here at the Hedgcock Fieldhouse, and they've only dropped 1 of their last 40, so certainly a strong home court advantage for Northern Michigan. The dive by Jenny Long. Did she get it? Yes, she did. Northern Colorado said it was down, but the officials didn't concur. Tricia Tuller the hit. Good job by the Wildcats to keep playing it while Northern Colorado is congratulating themselves, but UNC fights it off and gets the side out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she got that ball up. It doesn't really matter. Northern Colorado got the side out anyway.
Well, you certainly, though, you have to keep playing until the official blows the whistle. Don't be too quick on the congratulations.
No, you absolutely have to keep playing until they blow the whistle.
Nonetheless, side out UNC. They lead at 5-4. Koenig smacks it. Ponus digs it, and Dana Cash. And that will go to Northern Colorado as Tricia Tuller blocked it into the antenna. 6-4, Northern Colorado leads it. Here in game number 3. This one will be set up for Tuller. Bumped over to Dana Cash. Into the block. Northern keeps it alive. Koenig will play it over the net. Great hustle on both sides of the net. Debbie Ponus gets it off the tape. Saved by Schutte. And that one will be knocked wide by Tricia Tuller.
Tricia Tuller hitting right side. I'm not so sure how used to that she is.
Northern Michigan crowd trying to rally their team. They've dropped 3 straight points. Stacy Metro sets it for Koenig, and there it is.
This is that whenever Northern Colorado starts running points, Northern Michigan pretty much stops that.
Well, it's hard to win if you allow your opponent to rail off 5, 6, and 7 points in a row.
Right.
Northern Michigan stopped that one at 3, but that block goes out of bounds, so UNC looks to increase their lead.
Dana Cash is doing a nice job of attacking the ball very high off the hitter's hand.
Dana, first-team All-American. Schutte with the save, but that one will go across the center line before Stacy Metro could get there. And Northern Colorado up now 8-4.
I think this is the first time we've seen Northern Michigan down.
That one tapped over by Schutte. Set up to Debbie Ponus. She goes over the block. Koenig. This one will be set for Jenny Long. Nice save over there by Smith. Tuller plays it up high. Koenig had it at the net. Schutte keeps it alive, and it'll be knocked over by Jenny Long. That one off the hands of Tuller. 9-4 Northern Colorado, and I would expect Jim Moore to call a timeout, and he does.
Yeah, Northern Colorado pretty much controlled that rally. They attacked Northern Michigan very well. Gave them a lot of different looks, a lot of different angles where their hitters were hitting from.
Northern Michigan won the first game 15-12, the second 15-3. And Northern Colorado has come on here in game 3 to take a 9-4 lead.
One thing that's helping Northern Colorado is they're passing much better. The thing that they have to do to win this game is to make the Northern Michigan blockers move around a lot. If you get a solid block set up on you, Northern Michigan is definitely going to have the advantage.
Well, Kevin Hitt talked about it a bit during that Bakersfield match, and you'll often see a team go up 2-0 and kind of slack off a little bit in the third game. And the opponent will force a fourth game, and then it's time for the team with the lead to come back and put their stuff back together.
Yeah, I'm not sure, you don't want to let down, but I'm almost thinking that it's kind of a natural instinct to let down.
Side out Northern Michigan, Liu Jun will serve it. Liu's serve bumped by Cash. The set to Ponis, blocked off the hands of Smith. Cash keeps it alive. Tatiana will toss it over. Stacy Metro, the set for Andrea. And you know when that happens, the Express is on its way.
Yeah, Andrea's being very focused right now. She's playing very, very well.
Liu will serve it for Northern Michigan. Set up Debbie Ponis. Long off the block. Set up by T.J. Smith. Tanja sends it over. Nice save by Andrea. Trisha Tuller dug out the back row by Vicki Pruitt. Smacked off the block of Gomans and out of bounds. Side out UNC.
Both teams are doing a nice job of keeping the ball alive. They're playing great defense, attacking the ball very well. It's a much more exciting game to watch.
Don Schaefer will serve it up. Stacy Metro, the set for Domi off the melon of Tatiana Smith. And Northern will get the point. And Tatiana's looking for a Tylenol.
Yeah, she did a good job of keeping her composure. See how long it takes her to touch her face, though.
I tell you, if I was on the Northern Colorado side with Gomans bringing that stuff, I'd have a helmet on.
Yeah, but that's just kind of the hazards of the game. You always want to dig her, but you're always a little bit afraid.
Amber Petty, the serve on the side out for Northern Colorado. Tuller with the bump on the back row. Stacy Metro sets it for Jenny Long. Northern Michigan doing a lot of running Jenny Long in behind Andrea Gomans, and what a smash for UNC. 10-5 Bears as Debbie Ponis gets the kill.
Yeah, Debbie did a nice job of getting outside, waiting, and being very fast on her approach.
25 kills for Debbie last night. This one will go to Northern Michigan as the serve goes wide. Jenny Long for Northern Michigan. Schaefer bumps it. Set by Smith, and Ponis with the kill.
Ponis has definitely picked her level up a notch and playing much, much more intense.
I tell you, Northern Colorado wants to get this game 2 over with as quick as they can. You can't let a team like Northern Michigan get back into it. And with service errors like that, that's what you run the risk of.
Two service errors in a row is another one of those golden rules that you don't want to commit.
Those are the ones the coaches either sprout gray hairs or pull the dark ones out for. Erica Wymore, the hit is wide. 6-10. Northern Michigan trails. Andrea Gomans will serve it. 6-3 from Ponningen in the Netherlands. Nice dig by Smith, but Debbie Ponis and Don Schaefer were unable to get it, and it's now 7-10, and the Wildcats starting to crawl back into it, and Linda Delk would call a timeout.
Andrea Gomans has a very good serve, and she stands clear back to the basketball out-of-bounds line. She lets the ball float a lot, which is very, very tough for passers to get a hold of.
Now, is there a limitation on how far behind the service line you can stand, or just as long as you're on the court, it's legal?
As long as you're on the court, it's legal. There's a regulation on how far to the left or right that you can go. There's 2 hash marks in the service area. You only have that area to serve in, but you can go as far back as you want.
Just so long as you're not in the 4th row of the bleachers.
Yeah. Might be a little bit tough to get back and play defense.
7-10, Northern Michigan trails Andrea Gomans, staying to the center court side of her service area. Dana Cash tips it over. Koenig pops it up. Tricia Tuller smokes it down the line.
Tricia Tuller is doing a very nice job for Northern Michigan tonight. Northern Colorado needs to regroup just a little bit, start passing the ball like they were in the very beginning of the game.
For those hash marks Lisa spoke of, the left one is just about 2 feet inside the free throw lane, right at the base of the U on the NMU along the free throw lane, and the right-hand one is along the sideline. Cash smacks it into the block of Stacy Metro, and the Wildcats now have closed to within 1.
With Northern Michigan Northern Colorado not passing as well, they're just being forced to run a high outside, and that's something that you don't want to run against Northern Michigan.
Andrea's service hits the net, so it will go over to Northern Colorado, but their 5-point lead is down to 1. Vicky Pruitt will serve it. Vicky's serve comes back to Jenny Long. Stacy Metro sets it up for Tricia Tuller, and Tricia sends the hoop out the hands of Debbie Bonus.
Tricia's doing a nice job of moving around her attack. Last ball she hit down the line. Now she's hitting deep cross court. She's doing a nice job of seeing the court in front of her.
Stacy Metro's serve is bumped by Ponus. Dana Cash tries the tip. Nice dig for Stacy, but Heather Koenig couldn't get there in time before it hit the floor, and it'll go back to UNC.
I'm very impressed with both teams' hustle. I think both teams are just playing incredible heads-up volleyball.
Service comes from Smith. The setup for Koenig off the block of Schaefer. Side out Wildcats.
Number 9, Dawn Schaefer for Northern Colorado. She presses her hands over the net. That's going to be a tough block for her.
Schaefer holding one finger up behind her back, calling out the play for UNC. Stacy Metro hits the set for Jenny Long. Off the hands, it'll be point Northern Michigan, and we're tied at 10.
Unfortunately, the lead that Northern Colorado has is diminished.
Tuller will serve it up for the Wildcats. They come back from down 5-10 to tie it up. Brittany Tonjes, and she finds a hole right in between number 8 for the Northern Michigan Wildcats, Becky Smith, and Jenny Long.
Yeah, Becky Smith checked in for the backcourt for Andrea Gomans.
Becky Smith, a 5'11" place set hitter from Las Cruces, New Mexico. So no limit to the length that Jim Moore will get to find a quality player. Northern gets the side out. Rachel Dyrick and Andrea Gomans teaming up for it. Emily Carrick checks out for Northern Michigan. Serve from Dyrick. Debbie Ponus into the block. And Dyrick keeps it in the air. Nice up, and Stacy Metro will pop it over the net. Boy, you can just hear those floor burns coming.
Yeah, those are always fun to see how many floor burns and bruises you have after a match.
See if you get some kind of trophy at the end of the year from the trainer.
Yeah, really.
See who went through the most Vaseline for the course of the year. Northern Michigan will get it back. It's still even at 10. We are in game number 3. The Wildcats lead at 2-0 with 15-12 and 15-3 wins. The setup for Wymore, and Erica smokes it.
Erica Wymore did a nice job of cutting that ball back towards the setter's deep corner.
Amber Petty, she's got a little bandage on her left thigh, so that could be a bruise or a burn of some sort.
Yeah, that's a definite sign of a floor burn.
That one will go out of bounds out of UNC. Northern Michigan gets it back. Jenny Long serve. The setup by Smith. Wymore taps it deep. This one will come right into the net, and Wymore hits it off of Stacy Metro, and it will be a net violation against Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy was called in the net. Northern Colorado needs to score some points with their serve here.
Not that time, and Stacy Metro again on the center attack. Gets it back for the Wildcats, and Gomez will serve it.
Stacy does a nice job of not attacking the ball as often as probably she would like. Therefore, when she does, it's more of a surprise.
And she really does a good job of disguising that attack until the last possible second.
Right, with her being so tall, she's definitely got an advantage.
Side out UNC, Erica Wymore to serve it up. Koenig, the set, Pauline Schutte with the kill.
Northern Colorado's middle blocker, number 9, Don Schaefer, needs to do just a little bit better job of trying to get in front of the middle blocker for Northern Michigan's attack.
Gomez the bump. Stacy will set it up for Trisha Tueller. Trisha rolls it. UNC brings it back. This one again to Trisha. Goes for the smoke. Block. Again for Trisha. Blocked again. She keeps it up. And that one, Andrea Gomez, there was no digging that one out.
Yeah, Heather Koenig did a nice job of attacking the second ball, whereas Northern Colorado probably thought she was going to set it.
11-10 Wildcats. They take the lead for the first time in quite a while. Smith keeps it in the air, but Amber Petty can't get there. 12-10 Wildcats. 7 consecutive points for the green and gold, and Linda Delk will call a timeout.
Northern Colorado needs to do right now is they need to regroup. They need to take some time, concentrate on their passing, and attack Northern Michigan like they were in the beginning of the game.
Well, Northern Colorado had built a 10-5 lead, and they were playing a very sound, if not flashy, brand of volleyball. They were just minding their fundamentals and doing well, and they've gotten a little away from that during this Northern rally.
Yeah, their ball control has become a little bit shaky. Therefore, they can't run as many plays as they would like to.
Stacy Metro's serve. The set comes for Dana Cash off the block of Schutte. This one set for Heather Koenig. She pops it deep. This one, Dana Cash. Nice dig out the back row by Jenny Long. The set for Schutte. Ponish pops it up with her fist. Dana Cash, Long with the dig. Stacy Metro will set it for Tueller, and Trisha puts it down.
Northern Michigan's doing a great job of keeping the ball in play and attacking Northern Colorado all the time. They're never giving them a break to regroup or anything.
13-10 Northern Michigan. Wildcats just 2 points away from their second consecutive appearance in the national championship match. And Schutte slams it off the block of Schaefer. Stacy sets it for Koenig, and that one will go off the hands of Erica Wymore.
That was on the way out. She did Heather Koenig a favor by touching that ball.
And that will set up match point for Northern Michigan. 1 point away from meeting Bakersfield. Metro serve off the tip. I think some of the players, with the noise the crowd was making, couldn't hear that whistle.
Yeah, that's a great crowd, though.
Smith will serve it. Stacy sets it up for Trisha Tueller.
This is about the best I've seen Trisha Tueller play. I've only seen her last night and when they played Bakersfield at Bakersfield, but she's doing an excellent job tonight.
Match point, Northern Michigan. The set comes for Dana Cash. Tueller digs it on the back. Metro will set it. Jenny Long, the hit off the block. Smith sets it. They go to Dana Cash. Just a little roll over the net. Here comes Jenny Long off the hands, and UNC will keep it alive. Smash inside out UNC.
Dana Cash did a great job of attacking that ball hard. You don't want to roll on game point. I know you want to, but you can't.
Well, the crowd getting used to the stand-up, sit-down. That's 2 match points that have been avoided by UNC. Gomez blast blocked out of bounds by Don Schaefer.
Heather Koenig didn't have many places to go with that, but what she did was great. She hit it high, very hard, off the blocker's hands.
Rachel Dyrich serving for the match for the Wildcats. Short one dug up by Cash. Here comes Debbie Ponis. Stacy Metro, the high bump, direct, mishits it, and gets called for the double.
Debbie Ponis is doing a great job right now, just absolutely competing her hardest. She does not want to lose this match, and you can tell by the way she's attacking.
Wildcats teasing their fans. And that one, net violation against Northern Michigan, or pardon me, Northern Colorado.
A little bit of a fluke play. I'm not quite sure what happened.
So again, it's match point. The crowd back on its feet. Koenig serve. This one comes to Ponis. Blocked. Jenny Wong bumps it up, and there we go! Stacy Metro with the kill, and the Wildcats are in the national championship match.
Yeah, I think both teams did a great job tonight. Northern Michigan did a nice job of controlling the match. Northern Colorado, they had their spurts of playing great. In the third game, we saw some really nice play from Northern Colorado. Just didn't hold it up long enough.
Okay, Lisa, let's set up the match tomorrow. Northern Michigan and Cal State Bakersfield. They've played twice this year. Northern winning at Bakersfield. Bakersfield winning against the Wildcats in Portland. Two teams that are quite similar.
They are and they aren't. I think that Bakersfield's a little bit shorter, player by player. They run just a little bit faster of an offense. Like I said, they attack every single part of the antenna, or of the net, from antenna to antenna. That's what they're going to have to do in order to beat Northern Michigan. If Northern Michigan gets a setup, solid block, they probably will have the advantage over Bakersfield.
All righty. Lisa, thank you very much for helping out here this weekend. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And then tomorrow, we will have the consolation game, beginning with the 5:30 match between Portland State and the Bears of Northern Colorado, and then the national championship comes your way. The Wildcats of Northern Michigan will take on the Roadrunners of Cal State University Bakersfield. Full-on producer Gavin LeMaid and my co-announcers Lisa Rosen and Kevin Hipton, all our crew here at the CB Hedgcock Fieldhouse. We want to thank you all for joining us and hope you'll come on out and see the Wildcats play and catch our broadcast tomorrow night as the Wildcats go for the national championship against Bakersfield. Thanks again, everybody. I'm Dave Danis for President Communications, and have a good night.
Thank you all.